It has you on video saying your shirt.
Right, moving on to. High level, that's great. Discussion, questions for the applicant? Can I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for the hometown farmers market on June 18, July 16, August 20, September 10, and October 15th at 651 Oakwood Avenue? Moved by Grace, second. Second by Ernie. Further discussion? The applicant like to say a few words, introduce themselves and say a few words, please.
Hi, I'm Jerica.
Please, you gotta get it out.
You're right, we record it all.
Oh, wonderful.
You let the last one go.
Oh, no. Good chair, I just want to start with a little local vendor farmers market and local artist vendors. On Sundays, like 5 this summer, and hopefully it's good, go a couple more next year, but. We did it at Elm Street Bakery this year they're not doing it, so just a new location, different day, different time.
Maybe you'll have a couple other vendors there, you don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get as much local artists in, and we'll do like Stowe is in for it, and then Savage Meat. Will be like a couple food vendors, and then Root Down Farm and Clarence to be the veg stand, so they're all local and organic too.
What was that last thing you said?
Root Down Farm, and Clarence, so they'd be like the main veggies for them.
But you're not gonna have any music at all, right?
This year I don't want to do music because I just want to get the veggies and the artists more into it, and then hopefully maybe next year try to add some more music to it.
So this year, no music, and no, you're not supplying alcohol, none of your vendors.
Nope, nope, I want to be super family friendly. There's a new daycare too that's gonna be in that parking lot, so hopefully they can get involved too. So like get the families and friends out. It's only gonna be like 10 to 2, so just nice little walk by farmers market.
Do you have any questions for Jared?
It was entirely in the parking lot.
Yeah, will be nothing on the street. And there's nothing really open on that Sunday on that corner. On the street, you actually can drive down there without traffic, so there should be a lot of parking out there.
Thank you, Jared.
Yeah, so good.
All right, moved by Grace, seconded by Ernie. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for the backyard bash concerts from the town of Aurora on Thursday nights from July 6th to August 31st in the parking lot behind Builders 5. Moved by Steve, second. Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? I get a motion to refer to the planning commission, the amended special use permit application for the bar and main and Hamlin to install a new front window with counter seating inside and outside. So moved by Kristen, second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. It is referred to the planning commission. I get a motion to refer to the planning commission, the amended special use permit application for Manny's Hardware. To have mulch and soil for sale outside their building and also have a freezer outside for selling bags. Moved by Steve, second by Sexton. Further discussion? They did the mulch and soil last year, right? But I don't remember the bag ices new machine. What's the issue with them with the mulch and soil last year? There's something with the entrance, they were afraid it's gonna be blocked. What's that about?
They were staging it along the fence line on, East Belmore, where those 2 residents of our. And, the reason that they did that was because their loading area where they intended to stage it was full of equipment from the former 7-Eleven that was being renovated into snack beds. So they don't
No
have
longer
that.
an issue.
So,
Oh, thanks, good memory.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to refer to the planning commission special use permit application for Doug and Kim Durham, 842 Oakwood Avenue, to add an auxiliary dwelling unit. Moved by Grace, second. Second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to give permission for the chief of police to attend the International Association of Chiefs of Police Annual Conference? And drug seizure fund will be used for the trip. So moved by Kristen, second by Steve. Further discussion? Shane, anything?
Other than it's just another opportunity for training that I wouldn't be able to get around here. The state chiefs puts on excellent training, but the international takes it one step farther. I attended 4 years ago, I think, in Philadelphia, and it was excellent. And with the little bit of seizure money that we have, it won't be coming out of my budget. So
So is it money that we seized?
it's the money the police department seized through
Not like all
arrest.
police departments and they pull it together. and pay
No,
for all the
no,
chiefs.
just out of our arrest. We've had a couple cases over the years where we seize money, and then the DEA will actually seize it and then give us most of it back. Yeah.
Yes, you can put it to good use.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be cars, cash, whatever.
What if it's drugs? Do you then have to sell the drugs and get money for the county?
I'm not supposed to talk about that.
On a more serious note, do we actually have line of sight to the volume of seizures and the amount of money that's in right now?
They're minimal. I don't think we've had one in probably 3 years. Right now, we currently with the federal government, we have on record just over $8,000, I think, in seizure money.
Okay,
And that's been accumulated over, beginning when I had a canine several years ago.
okay. But that goes through the normal accounting process. and
But it's kept separate. It's not in with the rest of the money. It's gotta be separate.
But
It's
it has to
audited
have a-
separately.
A specific account
Yes.
for that,
Yep,
that goes through your process.
Yep.
Perfect, thank you.
I think you said it can only be used for certain purposes, right? Like this.
Yeah, it has to be, I don't know the full criteria, but training is one of the things, like. Nothing bad about you guys, but generally, money that the police department brings in goes into the general fund. And this money, because the federal government seized it for us, they can put rules on what we can and can't spend it on.
Thank you, Shane. All right, moved by Kristen, second by Steve. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to schedule a public hearing on June 20th. Consider local law to amend village code, adding a property tax exemption for volunteer fire and ambulance personnel. So moved. By Ernie, second.
I'll second.
Second by Molly. Further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to accept the resignation of Deputy Clerk Jessica Tan? So moved by George, second. Second by Grace, for the discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to appoint Phil Kuzma to the position of caretaker meter reader starting on or after May 2nd, 2020? So moved by Kristen, second. Second by George. For the discussion. Meter reader is house meters, just in case anyone was curious. Still do not have street meters. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved, congratulations, Phil. I'm going to move to appoint Sarah Hurd to the position of Deputy Clerk Treasurer to start on or after May 2nd, 2023. Is there any further discussion on that? All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. And I need a motion to appoint Sarah Hurd, Deputy Registrar, pursuant to Public Health Law, Section 412-1. So moved. By Kristen, second. Second by Ernie. Further discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Congratulations, Sarah. Welcome aboard.
thank you.
Thank you. Introduce yourself. Tell us a couple of poignant moments from your childhood. Yeah.
That would be wonderful. No, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm really excited for it. Oh, no. I wasn't appointed public speaker for the hour.
Can I get a motion to appoint Sarah Hurd as public speaker?
No.
All right, can I get a motion to appoint, oh no, I'm gonna move to appoint Lisa Braun to the position of deputy clerk to start on or after May 2nd, 2023. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to appoint Lisa Braun, deputy registrar pursuant to public health law, section 412-1? Moved by Molly, second. Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Approved. I guess we should ask Maureen, what are those second appointments do? Like what, explain to everybody the purpose though, that we added those to the agenda.
The registrar signs the death certificates or the birth certificates. And you guys have to do a motion in order to appoint my deputies. It's a motion of the board. And it allows people to help me out with that.
Yeah, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the budget adjustments? Moved by Ernie, second. Second by George. Further discussion?
Mayor, in the budget adjustments, do we have the improvements for the pad?
There's about, I think it was 9,600 in there to move from one account to another to resurface the pad at the park. There's also the money in the water fund to move in to do the Fillmore Bridge water line that's under the bridge.
So I just want to remind you at the last meeting, you did discuss that we weren't in any hurry to demolish the pad. But I don't know if you would want to go ahead and approve funding improvements at this time. That's really up to you. What I know that another thing that you had asked is that you get public input on what a park, an open space committee, or Hamlin Park, or all parks committee, or whatever it might be. You had quite a discussion at your last meeting about all those different ideas, and you want to get public input on that. Because of everything you have coming up at the next couple of meetings, I don't know that you would want to get to that. I was looking more at the June 20th meeting, which is actually Tuesday for the June 19th holiday. To just put out a public notice to have people come in and give their input on that you had requested. So then I don't know if you want to go ahead and put that committee together and then decide how you want to handle anything to do with that pad, or all completely up to you. I just want to bring it to your attention.
Yeah,
I wasn't here for the discussion last meeting, so
yeah.
I guess you guys can tell me.
Wondering, I thought we sort of agreed that we were gonna wait doing things, so I guess how did the 9,600 come out at this point?
It was requested by the department.
I was.
Yeah.
So Matt, why do you want to do it now if you don't know what we're gonna do now?
Well, we had the money left in this budget, and I thought it'd be a good idea to get a quote for resurfacing it.
Is there any savings, I guess, to doing it now versus waiting till we discuss it, we debate it on June, gets public input on June 20th?
Just cost of materials, and if the quote goes up,
I think it's my concern that people say that they don't want it there, they want to make it all trees there, and we're gonna spend 10 grand to redo a pad and then rip it out next year. I mean.
Yeah, if there's not an urgency to it, I mean, the pad is the pad, it's been like that for a long time.
And it's not the primary basketball court.
Right.
It's not like they were gonna just see what the usage was this year. They wanted us not to take it out with the production. And we were like, okay, well, why don't we just see what happens in the summer with the use, and she didn't want the kids to have to walk all the way to the basketball court, which made sense because it's kind of far away from all the other stuff that's going on.
Yeah, the floor not-
So we were like, kind of like, well, why don't we just see what goes on? And then we were at the same time talking about getting the committee, getting input from people. So that's how I took it, that we were just gonna wait.
I mean, making budget adjustments, not move forward, just leave them there.
Yeah, allow him to
Get that way, it's set to go.
You can do either. You can either do the budget adjustment and have it sit there and wait, or you could not do the budget adjustment, just approve the budget adjustments less that one line.
So if we approve the budget adjustment with this in there and
Matt wants to
did not-
spend it on something else.
not do it yet. What if after June 20, everybody comes out and says, we want trees there, so we're not gonna do it? What happens to $9,600?
That $9,600 is going back no matter what, because technically if you don't do it before June 1st, it's going back to fund balance. if it's not spent.
But we can still use it, it'll just be.
No, it'll be next year's budget, so you'd have to take from a line next year to do it. You wouldn't be able to do it with this year's money.
Basically the same process.
It's the same process. Yeah, it's just, it would be new month, you know, the new year budget where this is at the end of the year. What we have left.
It would leave it in there, approving it as is, giving them the direction not to actually spend it, and then giving more public input. Cashing it out. Does that make sense? You want something different?
We don't spend it without. Getting out there.
Well, ultimately, if you're not gonna get public comment until June, you wouldn't spend it anyways because it wouldn't be, it'd be in the new year.
Right, so it doesn't really matter.
So whether you approve it or not, you
Yeah.
just tell, you know, you can just let me
So
know.
do we just pull that as an?
I would just pull that line if you're not gonna do it this year.
So we can approve the budget adjustments, sans the $9,600 for the. pad facilities.
But now you're gonna be less $9,600, do you have to move somewhere else?
No, it'll just be in the line it was in.
Okay, so Ernie, do you want to amend your motion to leave out the budget adjustment without the $9,600 better?
Yes, I will amend my motion to not include the $9,600 of, budget adjustment.
Sure. Amend your second.
And my second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. All right, skipping on to speakers and communications 2. Last chance, if you're here and you want to speak on something, raise your hand and let us know. Anybody? You in the back? You good? All right. Moving on to department head reports, Shane?
Just one thing, we're still down 2 police officer positions. But I just found out today that the list is being, the police officer civil service list is being approved any day now, and they already have done a fitness and agility testing. So hopefully we can find a candidate that might already have police certification on that list. So that'd be great. That's it. Right, right. Somebody that lives in town, so. That's it.
Thank you. Matthew?
The walkway from the tennis courts to the basketball courts to the track was paved today. And the final coat on the basketball court, the new basketball court was done today. The restrooms are nearly completed. Hopefully another 2 weeks in order to be open.
Great.
And then the fence will be going up, the posts will be going in. I believe they're gonna start that next week. Then we'll get the surface coated and striped. And then after that, the fabric can go up.
Great, thank you. Liz?
No, nothing.
Real?
Yeah.
Wow. Maureen,
No,
screw this up for us.
not done, I'm done.
Oh, man, you're gonna go through it.
Almost. All right, Steve?
No, just, wanted to say, thanks to DPW, I had a few people come out and say after a lot of tree damage, we put a ton of stuff out, and they said we put it all, and thank you very much, Matt.
Awesome. Thank you again. Molly? George?
No, thanks.
Ernie?
Just reminded me, to bring this up, some residents on North Willow. This would be a safety committee thing, but, down North Willow, beyond where there's the one side only parking, where it goes to 2-side parking. Some of the residents are concerned about, when there's, both sides have cars, fire trucks getting through, being able to get out of the driveway safely, backing out. So that's a concern. Couple of people talking about that.
Kathy passed that on to us. We haven't been able to meet yet, but we should be able to look at that this week. I just caution that if you change parking to one side, then people are gonna complain that cars go too fast.
And actually, I got, this is going on for a little while. I appreciate that somebody contacted me, Ernie, but in addition, some of the two people that contacted about that, and the safety committee got it right away, and I know they got to coordinate this because we, right after, just recently, I should say, I got another concern about the speed on the street. And then, and Shane and I already discussed that, changing that parking will increase this, because it's a natural, traffic calming, measure. If you have parking on both sides, and people do need to slow down to get through that area. So I think you're gonna have to balance the concern with the speed of the traffic and children and pedestrians and people going to school in the area versus other safety issues having to do with the cars parking on both sides of the street. So safety committee is definitely going to review it and get to you about that information.
And another note on that real quick is, and it's been a historic issue in that area with the nursing home having so many employees traveling that section from the 400 to come in the back way to the nursing home. It's heavy trafficked. So again, if you widen it up basically by having less cars parked, it's going to be more of an issue of cars appearing to be going faster. So, but we'll look at it.
Taking this more broadly, and this person maybe some of the conversations I want to have, but this comes up so much about, I was going door to door getting my signatures when I was first getting on the ballot, and literally one house would say, there's not enough parking. Once, let's say, the people driving too fast, another one would say, we need more access. And I say, like, what do you, where do we find common ground there? Right now, my personal feeling is that we kind of, other than Main Street, have mostly like all streets are equal, and we're running the same kind of systems on every single one of the streets. At some point, don't we have to kind of differentiate some of these streets and just accept the fact that there are going to be more thoroughfares, so that we don't get, on all of our streets. We'll just keep happening. I'm just wondering if there's been previous conversations for that. Really privy to what we're planning.
Well, for the 31 years I've been here, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot longer than that. It's public generated. So when a new person moves into an area and thinks it should be different, they'll tell us. And then, the next person that moves in will think the other way was better. And it's for your board to come up with what you feel at the time.
In a largely ad hoc and reactionary manner.
Oh, absolutely.
Not a thoughtful plan, and, for what it's worth, I live on the north side, and like, I kind of think of everyone wants to think of their street as the quiet street, right? And, I think of my street as the quiet street, and I think the next one over should be the third. But that's not really a solution.
Well, that is always another issue, and yes, actually, I got 39 on the Shane, and I have heard this issue back and forth, conflicting exactly as you described. I don't know that there is a perfect solution. I don't think that there is, because as Shane pointed out, one person will think it should be one way, and another person will think it should be another way. And it's conflicting, and it's really, and if you make a change in one area, the unintended consequences are that it makes another area worse, and then they're talking to you about, well, you shouldn't change that because now it's impacting us. So there aren't any really wonderful solutions. The one thing, there's a couple things about, some about the perception of the speed of the traffic. Certainly, if you have parking on both sides and people have to wait a little bit, that it definitely slows traffic. If you eliminate that, traffic will go faster. Will it go beyond the speed limit? Possibly not, but it may seem that way to people. And if it is an issue with just the speed of the traffic, literally, that if the speeding, then that is definitely for Shane's department to do enforcement. But it's a whole, you gotta put all that in a blender and figure out how to mix it all up and make everyone happy, which is very difficult to do.
Most cases where we've had people on certain streets complain about cars going really fast. And then the police department will set up a speed check. And it turns out people aren't really driving all that fast. It just.
Yeah,
People are like, they're going, oh boy, that car's going really fast. And it turns out the reality is they're not really.
That's a great point. A lot of it is perception too. I know when we were talking about I think it was Willow in Maine. And somebody's like, oh yeah, you have to wait forever. People were like, yeah, you gotta wait forever at Willow in Maine. So we timed it and it's an average of like 38 seconds, 43 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're sitting.
Oh,
But it was under.
I was shopping for rush hour traffic today, and it was very tough. But
And also the dynamic and the ebb and flow in the village does sometimes change. Like the new development out in the town on Mill, right, is now forcing more cars to come up at that awkward intersection, which we looked at. We asked the state to do a traffic study to see if it's a better way to navigate the way Mill comes in at an angle like this, it makes it hard to go left, and the school buses get stuck. So things do change as well, you know, and you just try to react to it. You don't do a knee jerk. You say, all right, let's take a good thoughtful response to this, get a traffic study, and, you know, Shane will look at the accident records, and before we'll just jump and make a change.
And people will adjust their driving habits based on what they've experienced in the past. So they might go down Gerard instead of Main or Oakwood, or either South Street, cut across to avoid, so there's a way that people adjust their lifestyles based on what they know about the traffic, and that helps too over time.
I was just wondering if you had any desire or intention to consider any broad principle-based decisions that would kind of help some of these things so that we don't have so many individual plans.
Are you saying do like traffic studies on all roads and taking the width of the road into account, and the average speed and the route?
There's whether we should consider, and I'm a north side person, I guess.
You're north side.
I'll use
One of those.
So I'll use that as an example. Like consider Gerard materially different from other roads, and say that's gonna be more of a thoroughfare. And then treat it as such as we go through. And if somebody comes up here and says people are driving too fast on Gerard, we'll say, well, people moving the speed limit, but we're actually trying to encourage traffic people to down that road as opposed to. And I'm just wondering whether we have any interest in doing anything like that, so we can kind of get a hold on something.
Even if you tell those residents in that scenario that you just described on Gerard, that the village has now decided, looking at the whole picture and planning and traffic and all of that, even that thoroughfare, that will not be popular in any way, shape, or form. I think where you tell the people on Gerard, they say, well, we do not want this to be. So it's just so that would be, I'm certain that would be the reaction you get to that.
But nothing gets done without actually doing a little bit of, during a little bit.
Well, you just, so people will complain, and that's one of our most important functions is to answer the phone. If people have concerns, we pass them on to the safety committee, and they'll determine like if it's really a problem or not, and then we just deal with it and move on. That's just the way they're dealing with it. And most streets, there aren't complaints or problems. Most streets the people are fine with the way things are going, and we frankly can't, especially around, the streets closer to Mason, we can't afford to lose too much parking, right? We need the parking. And then we have an excellent safety committee. They put a lot of thought into this and a lot of knowledge into the decisions. And so, we've been dealing with it on a case by case basis for a long time, and it seems to work.
Okay. It sounds like you're kind of asking if the will is there.
Yeah.
Right. So if this is something that you want to take on, And I'm not saying just go full board and do it, you know, and invest all this time and have the board go, nah, we're good. You know, but maybe reach out to Nikon, do a little research online, come up with another municipality that has successfully done what you're starting to formulate. Just be like, hey, listen, here's what, you know, Appleton, New York did, and here's the result.
Yeah.
You know, this is what we would need to do.
Right.
You know, something early stages,
Yeah.
without you investing 40 hours a day.
Yeah. No, that's really good. It was just interesting to me because when I was going to get signatures, this was literally the number one thing that people talking about. And
More than deer?
More than deer. Well, it wasn't quite deer season yet. It was still snow out around. But it was really surprising to me. I don't have a single personal concern about traffic levels. But it was literally the one.
You're on a quiet street.
Thank you, everybody, for educating me.
Great discussion point, George. All right. You good?
Yes, thank you.
Ernie?
Also, thanks.
Grace?
Also,
Chris?
We had Arbor Day a couple of weeks ago at the high school, so that we had gorgeous weather for it, which we don't always get. And it feels like there are more high school kids participating every year. We got one of those trees in the ground so cool that they didn't get a picture of it while it's still out. So, real nice time, the kids did a great job.
All right, before we move into executive session, I would just like to take a moment to introduce our new deputy clerk who was recently approved a little while ago. This is Lisa Braun over there.
hello, everyone.
Lisa, welcome. You want to introduce yourself, say anything? Tell us
I'm
about you?
Ron, I'm from Lancaster. I do travel down to Hard, I think, to get here. So I understand the traffic, but not for the extent people of you. This is my family. I apologize for being late, but
No problem. We've been moving
just my
very
late.
quickly.
Look forward to working with everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you, welcome. That would have been a great time to see you guys.
Yeah.
Nice time.
All right, so, can I get a motion to move into executive session to discuss a collective bargaining negotiations? Moved by Steve, second. Second by Ernie. Further discussion? We do not expect to vote after this. We expect to come out of executive session and immediately adjourn. Just putting it out there for everybody. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are now in executive session.